and then you can zoom all the way in and see right down to the very people, and then you can click on them and see if they like what you're doing, basically. That people are like, oh, I'm hungry, or I don't like that place. And you can upgrade the places as well to make a bigger sphere of influence, so you can put shop signs on, or bushes outside, or tables for people to sit in. It's a very thorough game. If you like strategy games, and you like games where you get to be the boss and build and create, and it's an open game, of course. You've got certain objectives, but as you play through the game, you are basically free to do what you want. If you do like that sort of game, then you are going to love this. So if you're a big Sims fan, or if you're a SimCity fan, you're going to like it. Personally, I'm not a big fan of these, so only go near this if you've liked the previous Tycoon games, or you like The Sims and you like SimCity. It is thorough, it's a good game, the graphics are really fun, the tutorial guy's he's got a New York accent, he's like, hey, come in, let's go get a coffee. And the character animations are really good in this, and the traffic and stuff. It does feel like a moving city. I'm going to give this a solid 7 out of 10.
Okay, I'm going to give it a 6. I do think it's thoroughly enjoyable, but for me, it's just above average. Is that okay?
That's fine. Yeah, you go for it, girl.
Splendid. Now, moving on, you went to take a sneak look at Full Auto for the Xbox 360, didn't you?
Yes, indeed you do, darling.
Well, this week I was lucky enough to get my hands on a finished copy, and what fun I had. This is quite like Burnout, but with guns.
Good, I love Burnout, so if it's got guns with it, even better.
It's thoroughly enjoyable. You are encouraged to wreck and cause as much demolition as you possibly can, and like per level, for example, on this one I have to achieve a certain amount of wreck points in order for me to complete it. But for me, the best feature, as we have discussed on many a time on this programme, is that I'm an absolute pants driver. I'm absolutely rubbish, so I'm seriously at a disadvantage when I play this game. Yes, I'm absolutely rubbish. And throughout this game, you have to destroy lots of things, which kind of gives you like bank, if you like, kind of stores up your credibility to allow you to rewind and fix what you did wrong, to kind of let you have another go at completing the level.
Well, it beats a pickup truck, doesn't it?
It does.
Your car, definitely.
It certainly does. Now, unfortunately, if you don't blow enough stuff up, you can only do that so many times. They might only let you do it once. But if you've been successful at being extremely reckless, could say, yeah, you can just do it loads and loads, which is perfect for somebody like me who does that kind of stuff all the time. Something that is good about this, though, I think, is that you've got a selection of weapons, and what you can do is you can kind of opt for what weapons you particularly like and make them much more powerful than another weapon, for example. So if you're really good at using a rocket launcher or something like that, and not so good at other weapons and you don't find that useful, you can kind of demote them.
So there's a little bit of skill involved as well in what you're going to choose when you do your race.
There is a little bit of skill. Yes, Matt. What should we award this game?
Oh, I don't know, what are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it a 7.
7?
Yeah.
Any particular reason?
I enjoy it. I like taking out my aggression.
Don't we all?
And it's a bit more satisfying for me with a driving game where it's kind of like the point is driving into shop fronts rather than me feeling like, oh, whoops, shouldn't have done that.
Smash and grab, get yourself a dress.
Yes.
I quite liked it. I'm going to give it a 7 as well. I think it is a great game. I do think, though, Burnout's a bit more of a pure game. It's a driver's game. This is driving with guns. So do you like shooting? Do you like driving? If you can't make your mind up, this is probably for you. Now, for our retro selection this week, we're going to talk about a game that turned many people onto role-playing games in the first place. In fact, 10 years on, it's still the only game that some people I know have played, the only role-playing game they've played. And it's widely regarded as one of the best games in the series. It is, of course...
You have built this up seriously, Matt, haven't you?
I have, haven't I? It's Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, yes.
It's a biggie, it really is. If you remember it, it was an epic game. Now, people were into, on the original PlayStation, they're into their driving games or their Resident Evil games. Suddenly, Final Fantasy VII turns up, it's in 3D, it's got gorgeous little Wild Arms style graphics, sort of deformed polygons. They look like little dwarves running about, which is quite nice. And the storyline was you were Cloud Strife, and you were put in this massive world. You started off in an industrial complex. You played that for about 7 or 8 hours, and then you think, oh, is that all there is? And then suddenly, no, that is like a tiny dot on the map.
Oh, there's more.
There's more. You were then in a fully 3D rotatable map, and you could explore the whole universe that was Final Fantasy VII and take part in a massive storyline with a team of characters, fight many enemies, upgrade them, get yourself magic, and take part in some of the biggest battles you have ever seen, Kate.
So you absolutely loved it.
It was a phenomenal game, it really was. Everybody I know that had a PS1 who played Final Fantasy couldn't get enough of it.
Now, you know there's actually 4 Final Fantasy projects in the offing at the moment, including a DVD UMD, which is already, I think, released in Japan, and also a PS2 game is on the way, and a PSP game as well, if that wasn't enough.
There is a lot going on with Final Fantasy at the moment. It was just such a cool game. It did that sort of. Obviously, there was a 654-321, but it completely revolutionised the experience as well. The cutscenes as well, the full motion video in it was spectacular. It came on multiple discs as well. Anyone that got a PlayStation game got loads of discs with it, so they were like, which one do I put in first? Obviously disc 1 and work your way through. But you had hours of entertainment, literally hours and hours, 50 hours plus on this one game alone. Can you believe it, 50 hours?
Misty, watercolour memories
Oh,
of the way we were.
It is. If you haven't played it, check it out. You can still get hold of it. It's a classic game. That's why it's retro. We loved it, didn't we, Kate?
We certainly did. Now, a few weeks ago, Matt, you were given the task of reviewing the rugby game of the week.
Oh, yes. I
This
remember
week, that rather enviable task fell onto my shoulders, but I have to say, it was quite a pleasant experience. Now, Rugby 2005 was once described as the best rugby game ever. Would you believe it if I told you the Rugby 2006 might just be even better than that?
I don't believe you, Kate.
Yes, well, I believe it. Believe it and weep. It's quite funny because the training mode on this is quite good because it does obviously introduce you to rugby and the whole concept of it. Doesn't tell you what the final points of the game are, though. I could not possibly watch a real life rugby match and actually get it. Or I tried to the other day and it just wasn't happening. But no, it's enough for you to actually get through the game and understand how to play it, which is all you really need. There are some great additions. They've added to this the addition of being able to tackle somebody and throw the ball at the same time. So if somebody kind of grabs you to your feet and you fall to the ground, you can throw the ball away.
Okay, like in a real game. Yeah.
Exactly, which you couldn't do in 2005. And also there are just some really nice additions. The animation in this is fantastic. Also, if you play with New Zealand, there is the inclusion of the haka, which is the Maori dance that they do, which is really good to watch. It's excellent. They don't really kind of throw in any of our Scottish traditions, unfortunately.
But like bottling people at half time.
I could sing you a very funny, I think that on the train home on a rugby match last year, I think the song that we were singing on the train was something to the nature of, you can stick your chariots up your... Exactly. They didn't include that in this game, unfortunately.
I'm confused about what that word was you left out.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what it was either. The other thing which is good about this is that the camera angle does work really well. They kind of approach it from the side all the time, which does give you a really good concept of what's going on. So, yeah, I think it's a good one, really.
Yeah, I like the way it looks because it looks a bit more. Some other rugby games from other publishers look a bit too clean. All the characters look very waxy.
Definitely not a clean game rugby.
No, not a clean game. And these guys, it does look more realistic. It looks like you're watching it on the telly. The pitch is all rucked up. The guys are all covered in mud, and I think they look pretty realistic as well. So not a bad job at all.
Not a bad job, really.
No. What sort of score are you going to give it?
I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm going to go for a 6, simply because I'm not interested in rugby. But if you are interested, you're probably going to love it.
I'm not really interested in rugby either, but I do think that they counteract that with the training mode that does take you through it.
That helps, it will educate you.
It does help.
Isn't rugby great? No. Now, guys, if the thought of rugby is turning you on as much as it is me, yippee! Yeah, right. Then maybe we can help you out and make you a little bit more interested by the details of this week's super duper competition.
Oh, yeah. That would be good.
Cool.
On this week's Gamers competition, you can win a copy of The Godfather, released on the 24th of March, and a PS2 to play it on. To win the chance of winning, just answer this very simple question. Which is the famous Mafia TV series? Is it A, The Sopranos, B, The Tenors, or C, The Tweenies?
Good luck, and don't disrespect my family.
Punt it, punt it! What does punting mean? I don't know. Guys, stay with us because part 1 is finished. Stay tuned for part 2.
Duh.
play sports and then show them a few of my tricks.
You move.
Oh, hold dog.
I have to see this.
Cold, it's show me a trick or two and tell me about the game and what streetball. To start from, as you can see, a bit wet. Did you get and why so much fun?
Just the bus so much, you know, and shooting is the different angles of the game, so that's why I enjoy it.
So you can see, I'm a bit rubbish. I'm not very good at this. I better watch my wallet actually.
But more of it than I've seen anyway. This street flair and stuff with the athleticism in the game. I think just sort of love it. In them, and I think you know it's just going to grow on the world.
Is this the sort of stuff you can also do in the game?
Oh, that's what you couldn't do real. You can cool, entertain, teach things like that.
Or is that people like doing it?
I mean, again, I have different moves and different abilities and but
1, 2, 3, and 3. How many players are in the game?
yeah, definitely. 1, 1, 2, 5, and sort of the more trick. You're playing against all the computer, but it's 5 and 5, more of a game, competitive game. There's all different aspects to the game.
Oh yeah, man. Moves.
I rocked those, man.
Yeah, Matt. My ball. Something that I did get my hands on. It's very good with the PS Key of Heaven. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's what I use as a setup line. Or it's the key to heaven. Back to mine.
Just something that's
I'm